Hello viewers, you're watching VNA News Agency's Daily Bulletin. Up next are the top stories.
President Trương Tấn Sang attends Vietnam-Cuba Business Forum before concluding his official visit. Cabinet meeting focuses on socio-economic development plan. Vietnam and Malaysia signed Memorandum of Understanding on combating transnational crime.
President Trương Tấn Sang attended a business forum and visited a rice development project and a primary school in Havana on September 30th local time before concluding his official two-day visit to Cuba.
Addressing the Vietnam-Cuba Business Forum in Havana, President Trương Tấn Sang held that economic collaboration between Vietnam and Cuba has yet to match the sour political relations between two countries, as bilateral trade reached only $200 million in 2014. He called on both sides to make cooperation breakthroughs in spearhead sectors such as telecommunications and oil and gas to optimize their affiliation potential. He expected that more Vietnamese investors will explore trade and investment partnership with Cuban partners, contributing to fostering the traditional friendship between two peoples. The president lauded Cuba's recent achievements with its dynamic and proper external policies, which have helped the Caribbean country raise its international position, enjoy numerous economic growth prospects, and improve local living conditions. Visiting the Calumet Rice Development Project in Matanzas Province, President Trương Tấn Sang highlighted the significance of the project to Cuba's targets on food independence. He described it as an effective model that should be expanded upon in the future. Since the project was launched in 2002, Vietnam has sent experts to Cuba to directly instruct farmers on shifting their cultivation practices and organized training courses in Vietnam, while presenting a number of agricultural machines to Cuba. The project has helped reduce Cuba's rice import volume to 300,000 tons per year in 2012 onwards, from 400,000 to 450,000 tons from 2005 to 2011. The same day, President Trương Tấn Sang also visited a primary school named after President Ho Chi Minh before concluding his two-day official visit.
The regular cabinet meeting on October 1st discussed major tasks and measures to carry out this year's socio-economic development plan and accelerate the restructuring of the economy between 2016 and 2020.
The function held that the country's GDP growth stood at 6.5% in the first 9 months of this year, the highest recorded of the past 4 years. The progress was attributed to increases in industrial production, exports, and domestic consumption, among others. Foreign invested enterprises have increasingly expanded their share of Vietnam's industrial production and export structure. Given this, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng requested the Ministry of Planning and Investment to resolve the situation through analyzing indicators such as business scale, capital and profit to set forth proper measures. Cabinet members agreed with the Ministry of Finance proposals regarding permission to diversify government bond terms and issuing international bonds. They also concurred on developing a healthy finance strategy and improved capital market.
Vietnam and Malaysia have signed a Memorandum of Understanding on combating transnational crime. We have more in the following report.
The Memorandum of Understanding on Cooperation in Preventing and Combating Transnational Crime was signed by Vietnamese Minister of Public Security Trần Đại Quang and Malaysian Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. The document creates a legal foundation for lifting the two nations' bilateral security relations to a new height and widening the scope of cooperation in preventing and combating terrorism and drug and human trafficking, among others. At their talks, Deputy Prime Minister Hamidi highly valued the visit by General Quang as well as the contribution of the Vietnamese delegation to the success of the ASEAN Ministerial Meeting on Transnational Crime. Quang said the friendship and multifaceted cooperation between the two sides will continue to grow across all fields.
Vietnam opened its military attaché office in the UK on September 30th as the two countries are celebrating the 5th anniversary of strategic partnership.
Speaking at the opening ceremony, Vietnamese ambassador to the UK, Nguyễn Văn Thảo, affirmed that enhancing defense cooperation with foreign countries, including the UK, is a pillar in Vietnam's full integration process. Lieutenant General Phạm Quang Vinh stressed that Vietnam always attaches importance to the UK's role on the international arena. The defense affiliation will not only bring security-related interests to each country, but also contribute to ensuring peace and stability in the region and the world. Sharing Ving's views, Air Commodore Nick Bray, head of the International Policy and Planning Department of the UK Ministry of Defence, said the military attached officers will have advanced defense ties, especially in the exchange of delegations and information and personnel training. Since Vietnam and the UK established their strategic partnership in 2010, the two countries have set up closer defense cooperation frameworks and launched major initiatives.
Official figures released recently reflect a gross domestic expansion of about 6.5% within the past 9 months. During the period, the industry and construction sector contributed most to the economy, with an annual growth of 9.57%, followed by the service sector at 6.17%. Agroforestry fisheries, which accounted for 16.3% of the economic breakdown, posted a negligible rise of 2.08%. The General Statistics Office said the industry and construction soar was attributable to 9.69% and 9% increases obtained by industry and construction units, respectively, much higher points for both than had been recorded in recent years. Most services, including wholesale retail, banking, finance and insurance, climbed between 2 and 9%. In contrary to the healthy growth of forestry and fisheries, agriculture inched 1.77%, due largely to difficult weather and volatile material prices, which led to a lower rice yield. Newly licensed large-scale projects raised 9-month foreign direct investment in Vietnam by 53.4% year-on-year to $17.15 billion in the first 9 months, according to the Ministry of Planning and Investment.
The large-scale projects receiving licenses in the reviewed period included Malaysian invested thermal power plant Duyên Hải No. 2 in the southern province of Trà Vinh, which is capitalized at $2.4 billion, and the $3 billion expansion of Korean Samsung Displays project in Bắc Ninh Industrial Zone. The ministry said as of September 20th, the country granted investment licenses to more than 1,430 new foreign invested projects worth $11.03 billion, up 44.5% over the same period last year. During the period, the disbursement of foreign direct investment also witnessed a yearly encouraging rise of 8.4% to $9.65 billion. Foreign investors invested in 49 cities and provinces, with the Republic of Korea remaining the investment leader, followed by the UK, British Virgin Islands, and Hong Kong, China. Manufacturing and processing retained their most attractiveness, and real estate came in second. Vietnam has set a goal of luring $23 billion in FDI this year, with FDI disbursements expected to hit approximate $12.5 billion.
Vietnam saw a trade deficit of $3.9 billion in the first 9 months of this year, reported the Ministry of Planning and Investment.
The country's export value till September of this year increased by nearly 10% to nearly $120.7 billion, while imports surged 16% to $124.6 billion. Exports to major markets rose significantly in the first 9 months, with the US and the EU markets reporting a rise of 19.6% and 12.4% respectively. Exports to China also rose 12.5%. In the first 9 months, the export growth was attributed to increasing export revenue of processed products, garments and wood, apart from telephones and components. However, some products saw a decline in exports in the period, of which agroforestry and seafood products dipped 10% due to decline of 3 key products: rice, coffee and rubber. Mineral exports also fell 45% because of the sharp decrease in crude oil export value. In the first 9 months, the country mainly imported machinery, computers and equipment, and clothes and garment accessories. Vietnam mainly imported from Asian markets, which accounted for more than 80% of its total import value.
As part of the Gongsun Give Back Autumn Festival in the northern province of Hải Dương, a special event took place on the Lục Đầu River for visitors to pray for peace and contemplate flower garlands and colored lanterns. Let's take a look.
The prayer ceremony is a long-lived tradition and a sacred ritual, recreated in a larger scale by the province to highlight its historical and cultural values. It is a ceremony to pray for peace and prosperity, favorable weather condition, and bumper crops. At the same time, the prayers are for those who laid down their lives to protect the nation from foreign invaders. After the ceremony, thousands of flowers were laid down on the Lục Đầu River, followed by a spectacular fireworks show.
A cultural festival featuring the beautiful land, people and culture of Russia has taken place in Hanoi and Central Thanh Hóa province, leaving deep impression on visitors.
Entitled Feel Russia, the event formed part of activities to celebrate 65 years of Vietnam-Russia diplomatic ties. As part of the festival, an exhibition with nearly 100 photos depicted Russia's nature, tourist attractions and the daily life of the locals, bringing Russia closer to visitors. They also reminded those who had learned and lived in Russia for their time in the country.
Russian music and culture have left deep impression on us who used to stay in the country. We hope that younger Vietnamese generations will also have more chances to know about Russia.
Highlight of the festival was an art performance themed Feel Russia. Artists sang well-known traditional Russian songs as well as ballads and rock music. Especially, duet double mix entertained the audiences with Russian folk songs in modern style.
We bring both traditional and modern Russian songs to the festival. We would like to introduce part of our culture to you.
The event was designed to promote culture exchanges and mutual understanding between the people of Vietnam and Russia.
People of all ages are flocking to the Thăng Long Imperial Citadel in Hanoi to enjoy a book festival where more than 20,000 books of various genres are on display. Themed books and heritage, the Hanoi Book Festival was among the capital's key events to celebrate the 61st anniversary of Hanoi's liberation, October 10, 1954. The week-long literary event, which runs through October 5th, aimed to contribute to a strategy for the development of a reading culture in Vietnam.
I am glad to join the festival. In the past, when we didn't have enough food for our daily life, nobody paid attention to books. Now we should organize as many book festivals as possible so that readers can live in the world of books.
Addressing the event, Deputy Minister of Information and Communications Trương Minh Tuấn said he hoped Hanoi and other provinces nationwide would pay greater attention to developing a reading culture among communities, and that more book events would be held for not only readers but also writers and publishers to exchange ideas and promote their work. Different sections were organized for calligraphy writing, book coloring, and folk singing, while dozens of panel discussions and talks between readers, authors, and book researchers were also hosted on the sidelines of the event. The donated books will be presented to schools in mountainous communes and naval soldiers. And that's all we have for today. Thank you for joining us and see you next time.